Hey, Mark Harrington here, coming to you from my home here in Columbus, Ohio. As we all know by now, hopefully, that we've gotten news that Ruth Bader Ginsburg has passed away. And of course, that news is making shockwaves across America. Very unexpected for many people. We had no idea that this was happening this week. Although we knew Ruth Bader Ginsburg was sick, struggling with cancer over the last several years, actually longer than that, it was likely that this day was going to come. However, we didn't think it might happen before the election. So, I guess this is due course for 2020. Everything is happening this year. We've had the COVID, we've had the riots, and now we have the passing of a U.S. Supreme Court justice. And it's not just any Supreme Court justice. It's Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who has been on the bench for now 27 years and was definitely the leader of the liberal wing of the court. So this is huge, especially as we have an election coming up on November 3rd. And so I wanted to come to you live because we are able to actually get a live feed from the U.S. Supreme Court. My son Dylan is actually there on an internship this summer. How you doing, Dylan?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. So you're out in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. What's it like?
Yeah, well, they just got done singing Imagine for the second time by John Lennon. They started singing America the Beautiful, but that was a little mildly sung because they started realizing that they don't agree with a lot of the lyrics. but
Maybe.
but
Are they most, does it seem like they're mostly, obviously they're there to honor Ruth Bader
yes,
Ginsburg.
yeah.
Can you tell, uh, is it more of a vigil, a
There's actually,
candlelight
hold on.
vigil, a prayer vigil? What's it like?
It actually seems like there's something going on over here, some commotion. Let me turn the camera around. I know that earlier there was a conservative uh, public figure that was uh, identified, and people started yelling at him,
Oh, I
and
see.
mobbing around him. And now they're chanting RBG, supposedly in a rally in front of some camera crews. Yeah.
So there's a lot of media. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of
Yes.
media there
Yeah, there's a
over
lot of
the
media here.
next
I think
several hours.
they're rallying around some of the camera crews that are putting their cameras here. Earlier, they were laying down flowers and candles on the steps.
Wow.
Obviously, the
But
rainbow
it's more or
flag.
less, I mean, it probably will evolve into a rally because it
It
won't take,
appears so. It appears so
could,
at this point.
can,
There's a megaphone. There's a megaphone being streamed at someone. Oh,
can,
okay. What they're doing right now is they are mobbing around a conservative public figure named Jacob Wall,
I don't know who that is.
a controversial conservative
Oh,
public figure named Jacob Wall. They're all mobbing around him and trying to intimidate him. You can see him beyond the rainbow flag. He's trying to chase them down. He's not backing
yeah,
down.
I
And
see.
more people keep crowding around him to try to intimidate him.
Well, if you would, Dylan, can you step away from that a little bit so I can hear you a little better?
Yeah, sure.
There you go.
So do you
So it
think
looks
I need
like,
to
I mean,
repeat anything
what
there?
what likely began as a prayer vigil, kind of a silent time to remember Ruth Ginsburg, will probably turn into more or less of a political rally before very long.
A political rally and a mob, I would say, because what they were doing is
Yeah, probably before long.
they were gathering around a conservative public figure named Jacob Wall, who's controversial, but probably doesn't deserve to be mobbed.
Yeah,
Because I doubt he's doing anything provocative here.
well, what's interesting about all of this is that we are now, around 50 days from the election, and now we have the U.S. Supreme Court right in the center of the election, where before the election was mostly centered on COVID, a lot of the rioting, law and order, that kind of thing. Now the issue of abortion is going to be front and center where it wasn't before. I mean, it's just like God to bring it up this way. Now, I'm not. Uh, it's going to be interesting in the coming days and weeks how this is dealt with by the president. Dylan, could you step away a little bit from that,
Yep.
just so we can hear? It'll be interesting to see how this is handled in Washington, because if we have word from Senator McConnell, Majority Leader McConnell, tonight that he will bring up the nominees. So it appears that President Trump will nominate a replacement before the election, and McConnell has promised to bring him or her to a vote. Now, whether they actually receive a vote or they get a vote up or down, we don't know. I still think it's probably going to be in the favor of Donald Trump come around election time, because whether he does or doesn't get someone through before the inauguration, it now has made the U.S. Supreme Court a premier issue for the election in 2020. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I imagine over the next several hours, this is going to become pretty crazy out front of the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yep. And
Uh,
I actually have something to report, live breaking news from Fox News. Biden just released a statement saying that, of course, the next person, the next elected president after the November election should be the one that nominates
of course.
a Supreme Court justice to fill the vacancy created by Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Right, which would be something you would figure. Now, what's interesting about Biden is that now I think he's going to have to come out with a list, which he was hesitant to do prior, where, of course, President Trump has been forthcoming in his list of possible nominees. Biden's been very quiet about it. He's been unwilling to discuss it. Now I think he's going to have to come out with his list. It'll be interesting to see how the left wing of his party will receive that list. It's something he didn't want to have to do, and now he's going to have to, probably. So, what I hope is that the Senate, U.S. Senate, does not give in to the mob, because of what we saw with the Kavanaugh hearings. We could see probably another similar situation, maybe even worse than that. And I'm hoping that our senators will step up to the plate and not give in to the mob and actually bring a vote on Trump's nominee. So is it? So it's. Go ahead and pan that. Yeah, pan the camera around. How many people are there? I can't tell. What's it look
I
like?
would I would say thousands, because
Really?
I have not
Wow.
even stepped on the first step leading up to the Supreme Court. So I will walk through the crowd here and just give you a feel for how many
Do
are up
they?
here. Look
How
at
many?
this.
How many law enforcement officers are there?
I have not seen any so far. I
Wow,
would,
and everyone's behaving themselves
well,
so far.
besides the mob that assaulted the conservative, I would say
Well, they
everyone's
didn't
behaving.
assault. Verbally, they were
Well, no,
abusive,
but
maybe, right? No.
this technically assault if you create
Okay.
a reasonable feeling of imminent harm, or the threat of imminent harm, then that is assault. But yeah,
Well, I think it's a.
this gives you a feel for how many are actually here. I mean, this alone here, right in front of the court, I would say is maybe 2,000 people, and then back
Wow.
up here, farther farther away, I would say another 2,000 maybe.
That's probably going to grow through the night, I imagine.
Yeah,
I
I think
imagine they're
so.
going to have to dispatch law enforcement too, because
Yeah.
who knows how to stay peaceful and civil based on what we've seen recently. But now we're heading into the election. It should be. Can't get any crazier. Now we've got this nomination likely looming. I assume that at this point there won't be a vote. on whoever President Trump puts up before the election. So it's likely going to go into the lame duck session, and who knows what's going to happen. I think we all need to pause and understand that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, as much as we disagreed with her, is a human being, and the death of any human being needs to be something that we should not delight in per se, but her positions were ones that were contrary to the law of God, and in many respects, she's one of the few that are very responsible for a lot of the cultural evil that we've seen in America. So
Yep.
It was a matter of time.
before she was going to be replaced, and now President Trump looks like he's going to get another opportunity. Anything else to report of note?
No, besides they're singing "Let It Be" again. Well, this is
No,
the first
Imagine.
time. Yeah, no, this time they're singing "Let It Be" by the Beatles
Let it be.
instead of "Imagine" by John Lennon. Both of the flags, if you can see right here, are at half mast, which
Okay.
I would say is
It's
common
appropriate.
practice. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then we have a sign right here that says "Honor Her Wish," which I don't
All
know
right. So
how the
reportedly, you know
sign
what that
holder would
means?
suggest.
That
Honor
means
her wish.
that reportedly on her deathbed, she left as her final wishes that President Trump would not be able to nominate a replacement for her. So that's going to be used by the Democrats to try to keep Trump from appointing someone to replace her during his first term. So reporting that's what it's reported that she said from her deathbed. It's hard to believe that's what she would be talking about as she's passing on, but who's to know? I guess there's no way to verify that, but I'm sure that's going to be used. Now they're singing "Let It Be." Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Dylan. Anything else to report, and then we'll sign off for now. Seems like it's quieting down a little bit.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be so sure of that. But there's not much more to report right now that I haven't already reported.
All right. Well, we appreciate the on-the-spot, on-the-ground report from the U.S. Supreme Court. You've been listening to and watching Mark Harrington, Dylan Harrington, coming to you from the U.S. Supreme Court on the announcement of Ruth Bader Ginsburg's passing. Thanks for coming to us live, Dylan. God bless.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, folks. We'll see you next time.